Rappers and music producers. It's Curtis King, CurtisKingBeats.com, and you know me well if you know this ain't no damn clickbait. This today, my friends, is a wake-up call. Rappers do not need music producers. Let's talk about it. Music producers, I had a conversation last week again with Epic. We have many conversations because of the mentorship program that we have. One of those conversations that came up was a very provocative idea, a very taboo topic, a topic that years and years ago came to mind, but I almost pushed it to the side because I was too afraid of what that would sound like if I were to share that with my audience. However, today I'm in a much more confident position to stand by this idea and to even break down this idea that rappers don't need music producers. I know there's probably some of you, very small demographic of watching, that cannot formulate or cannot even figure out how to do some critical thinking. So I'm gonna give you an opportunity to either leave your hate in the comments right now before you watch the video, or just take your head ass somewhere else. Fitbit, let them go. Now that they have left the room, let me talk to the critical thinkers in this room. When you think about that actual sentence, rappers don't need music producers, for those of you that get emotional first, you're probably gonna say that's stupid. Of course rappers need producers. How else are they gonna have beats? What are they gonna rap over? They can't make no beats. That is where you gotta slow down, my friends. That is where you gotta put the brakes on. Why must you put the brakes? Because in 2018, and perhaps for many years before, because rappers have figured out how to replace the role of not only just the music producer, but also the music engineer. Okay, Curtis, now you're talking blasphemous. Let's break this down. So the conversation I had with Epic, he said, there are rappers now who, because of producers who feel entitled, because of producers not delivering great customer service, took it upon themselves to figure out how to make beats. And who can we credit for giving them the tools to make these beats? Well, we can talk about producers that put out construction kits. We can even talk about producers who put out drum kits. There's nothing wrong with putting out construction kits and drum kits. It's just that maybe you should keep in mind now that your only audience, your only customer base, if you were doing your research, is not young producers. It's actually rappers who aspire to be their own producers. The game has changed. Even rappers who used to spend hours and hours upon hours going to the studio have found inexpensive ways for them to develop their own home studio. There's even a DIY home studio for dummies if they don't know what they're doing. However, wait. Let's talk about something even more than that. There's something called YouTube that gives them the tools that they need when you don't want to answer their questions. So why am I making a statement like this today? I'm not making a statement like this to be controversial. I'm making a statement like this as a damn wake-up call. There's a lot of producers in the midst of this revolution of the online music producer that have felt very empowered. They feel like, you know what, finally people are respecting. They feel, the hell is that in my damn head? They feel like finally people are respecting the music producer. Finally people are understanding the role of the music producer. Finally they're starting to get a little bit of light and a little bit of shine. And finally people are actually checking for, hey, who's behind that producer tag? That is all great. That is wonderful. That is amazing. I'm glad that producers are being seen as the entrepreneurs or the producer-nors that I like to call them. I'm glad they're being viewed as such. I've seen that for years and I stood by that. However, I think in the midst of this revolution, something interesting happened with many different pockets of the producer community. One of the things that happened was that sense of entitlement started to get increased. In the midst of that, and I've made videos about this before, about how producers should not insult their customer base or potential customer base, but those producers who are putting up these memes and they're putting up, I mean, it's funny because it's not even just producers now. Now you got some of these beat websites that are putting up, oh my God, they're putting up memes that are clowning the customer base that supports financially the producer base that they are hoping to make money from through a subscription that must be paid from the very rappers that they're talking about? What the hell is going on? That's a whole nother video. But today, we must make sure we check our temperature, music producers. Are you extremely entitled? What comes along with entitlement? Well, with entitlement, you start to feel like you're owed something. Even if you haven't necessarily put in a deserving amount of work, maybe you feel like you have, and because of that, you feel that you're deserving of some sort of reward, some sort of respect. And because of that, I think many producers have slacked the hell up on their customer service. They're treating rappers like numbers. They're worried so much about how do I get views and not how do I engage customer to customer, that those customers that used to just be rappers that couldn't make beats now said, you know what? Since you want to act entitled and since you want to be a head ass over there, I guess I better start learning how to make beats. So what do? They go take a FL Studio course called Fluid, teachmeflstudio.com. They go take a course by Curtis King and they learn how to make beats. Is it Curtis King's fault? Maybe. Next, they say, you know what? I learned how to make beats on FL Studio. Cool. I learned that really quickly. But you know what? I don't got no sounds. What do I do next? I'll do some research on YouTube about sounds that I should get. Oh, wow. Something called Splice. Maybe I'll go there and get a rent-to-own Serum. I get a rent-to-own VST like Salinth. Now I got sounds. I got the same access to the sounds that other producers have. You know what? But I can't find that exact sound that I'm looking for. Oh, damn. One of my favorite producers that I would have bought beats from but had shitty customer service decided to now put out a construction kit that gives me the tools to some of their most fire beats. Now I have the breakdown channels, the exact instruments that they used. And because of this breakdown, I now get to learn music production, the art of music production. And not only that, I get to borrow these sounds and piece together a beat. But producers say something like, well, that's cool, but they can't make a beat that's as complex as mine. I spend 15 hours on something like this. You can't just piece together what I'm doing. That's interesting. Most rappers I found, at least within my demographic, because I do my research and I do talk to my customers, they don't necessarily go for the beats that have the most instruments in them. They're not necessarily searching for the ones with the most elaborate instrumentation. Many times they get so intimidated because they're like, okay, what's my place in this beat? You've already filled in all the pockets of this beat. Where do I add my instrument called a voice? And because of that, those beats get slept on, and the beats where it's only one instrument or just a very minimal production, those are the ones they choose. Guess what, producers? That beat was not very hard to make nor recreate. That being said, that rapper now says, okay, got your construction kit. I got this particular melody that has a BPM. Thank you, producers, for giving me that BPM. I'll take that. I'll go find a drum loop off of Splice. Cool. I pretty much got the damn beat. Oh, you know what? I need some 808s. Man, how do I 808 slide? Click, 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 click. They on YouTube. 808 slides. Oh, there's a million videos about that. Now I can put an 808 slide in this and this beat is done for me because all I want to do is just get off my story anyways. Then from there, rappers start to say, okay, now I got to record over these particular beats that I have just created. Man, let me go see what the studio time is hitting for. $30 an hour? I'm good on that. I kind of want to save my money and put it towards maybe getting my music up for distribution. I think I'll chill on that. So then what do? They get their equipment. But I don't know how to use this equipment. Where do I go? Back to YouTube. They go back to YouTube. They go to YouTube University, as Epic calls it, and they learn how to mix their vocals through 1 or 2 videos that satisfies them. See, here's the thing about it. I think that producers and engineers have got to a place where they feel so talented in their own mind and maybe in their own right. They feel so irreplaceable that they don't think they could ever be replaced. And the reality of it is this: music is easier to make than it's ever been. It's easier for people to learn than it's ever been. There's more courses, there's more kits, there's more sounds than it's probably ever been in the history of music production. It is not that difficult for rappers to get the type of production they're satisfied with. Now, when a producer starts to say, well, he'll never get the elaborate production that I can make, you're talking to other music producers. You're judging your craft based upon other music producers. You're not talking about that rapper and what that rapper needs. And while we're on the topic, do you know what your particular customer base, whether it be rappers, singers, pop singers, whatever it is, do you know what they actually want? Or are you aimlessly making beats on a daily basis because what you feel and what you want to do? You know, I'm not here to criticize you for making the music that you want to make, because at the end of the day, you started this because you love music. However, when you put your beats within the market, there are things that you're going to have to put away with. One of them being your ego. The next, your sense of entitlement. There's no room for entitlement. Third, customer service needs to be the strongest thing coming out of your such and such beats.com. It's not just your production. Customer service that is elite, that is on point, will actually push you further up in the priority of a rapper's mind who is out shopping for beats. Because don't get it twisted, there are some rappers who just don't even want to bother with that. In their mind, it's like delegating to the person that can do this job the best. Some rappers don't even actually want to even deal with it. But if your customer service is shitty, they will go to somebody else who has better customer service and worse beats. So what are you doing? Are you talking to your customers? Is your idea of talking to your customers responding back to emails where they say, this beat is fire, and you say, thanks? Is that all that you're offering? Are you offering better deals to the general public than you're offering to people who have been riding with you for the last year? Why should they buy from you? If that's what you're doing, why should they buy from you? These are tough questions you gotta ask, because in 2018, rappers no longer need music producers. They'll enlist the services of a music producer. They don't need your ass. They don't need my ass. They don't need nobody, especially you head asses. They don't need any of us. They don't even need engineers to get done what they want to get done. If they record a song over a beat that you think is crappy, over mixing that is crappy in the ears of an engineer, but the audience and the fans that come to the show say, oh, I love this so much. Oh, this is my song. Oh, that's my song. You be getting off on that one. Oh, the bass is distorted, but it's so tight. Your opinion doesn't effing matter. So what you gonna do with that? Are you going to become bitter? Are you going to make more memes? Are you going to increase your customer service? Are you gonna spend more time highlighting the MVPs that purchase your production? Are you gonna spend more time highlighting the assholes and the jerks that steal from you? It just seems like a lot of music producers' priorities are all over the place. And before you know it, I give it about 1.5 years, 2 years. If all you do is make beats, you never speak to your audience, and this goes for those of you that have social medias. You're on social medias, but you're antisocial. If you do not find some sort of medium, like a YouTube or an Instagram, IGTV, Facebook Live, whatever, if you don't find some kind of medium to talk to the people, you will be replaced. There will be no need for you. You will be obsolete. You will be making beats for yourself and whoever else is in the room, your goldfish, your dog, your cat, and that's it. You must always operate within this business. I remember there's a line, Biggie was saying this line on, I believe Jay-Z used it on the Black Album. He said, you must treat every day like your first day. Were you having this sense of entitlement on your first day, or were you hungry for more? Were you hungry for success? Were you hungry for improvement? Were you hungry for growth? Where'd your hunger go? Did you allow setbacks and pain to put you in a place where you just feel like you're owed something? If that's where you're at, you need a wake-up call. Rappers don't need you. Figure out a way to make your service irreplaceable. Figure out a way to make what you do so grand and so amazing. You don't need to just satisfy your customers. You need to wow the hell out of your customers. Is that what you're doing? These are questions that you got to answer. Because in this life, you will not be full of life until you decide to live life to its fullest. Curtis King of CurtisKingBeats.com. Please subscribe to the channel below, Curtis King of CurtisKingBeats.com.